And we welcome you into another great episode of Anchor TV Interviews. As always, my name is Tim Yean, Anchor TV Sports Manager. Once again, here for another great episode of Anchor TV Interviews. Today, we have another awesome guest here from the Athletics Department, this time from the department side of things. For staff-wise, it is Owen Kane, Assistant Sports Info Director for RIC Athletics. Owen, great to have you on today. How are you?
I'm good, Tim. Thanks. How are you doing, Tim? Thanks for having me on this.
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, we've had this interview in the books for a decent minute. All right. You are always outreaching in terms of if I ever need content, you'd be always available. And this is kind of our second interview actually together. The first one is for a project for Dr. Galvez's class. This one kind of sort of the same. Would have been done in the afternoon, but we had to do some schedule changes. But I'm glad you can adjust your schedule and be here.
Oh, yeah, Tim. I mean, anything for you. You help us out so much in the athletic department, so why not return the favor right back to you?
You're right.
I appreciate you having me.
How does it feel being on the other side of the table now, technically?
It's so awkward, honestly. I'm like sitting over here. I'm like, geez, I'm not the one doing the intro this time. All right, I kind of feel good, but
yeah, you're on the
also
couch.
feels a little weird, but yeah.
On the couch, not on those director chairs as you usually are. So once again, thank you.
Right.
First things first, how did you get your start into sports broadcasting?
Yeah, so it was all started at University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, a college that I went to right out of high school. Going in was my freshman year was COVID 2020, so
Right.
I didn't really have a lot of opportunities. I was able to reach out to the sports information director, obviously the assistant director of media relations in any campus. But that time it was Chris Caputo at the time. I was able to talk to him. Then jumped right in my sophomore year immediately when the sports started ramping back up. Started off with soccer in the fall, a little bit of volleyball play-by-play. I actually just filmed soccer, not a whole lot of play-by-play for soccer until like the playoffs, but it was a whole lot of play-by-play for volleyball. Then moved on to the winter basketball, stuff like that, and as you can guess, probably baseball, softball in the spring.
Right. So during that COVID year, how were you able to sort of maintain that availability in terms of following Pitt Johnstown sports?
So honestly, it wasn't too hard for me because everybody was being kept in their dorms at the time. It was kind of just like, you didn't really have a schedule. You were just going to class, going to eat, basically, and maybe to the gym, right? And I had a whole bunch of time to spare. I'm like, I just want to get involved somehow with this sports thing. I want to help out some way. And I immediately emailed him, and he said, freshman year, we didn't have any opportunities at the time. So I kept following up with him, obviously, but it was just, one of those things where I just had to wait a year, I guess. And it didn't really set me back a whole lot, though. It was kind of just like right on time, though.
Right. Would the food at Pitt Johnstown's dining center compare, or like better or worse than what we have here at RIC?
It was, so Rhode Island College, what I've experienced is pretty good already.
Okay.
Mine there, I liked it, but it definitely could have been better in some areas. They had this, you'd like walk right in, you have like all the stuff on the left. You had like a Subway, a Freshens, you'd have like this taco place, but they only had the taco place for one semester. My favorite place, it was called Two Taco. You get these $8 burritos. I mean, they charge it to your meal, right? But it'd be like $8, I guess, for a meal. And the burritos were probably the size of like a small cat, maybe. Like
right.
It was huge. Like you could devour that. It would keep you for the rest of the night, dude. It would. But yeah, I think I would go back to mine for sure. I would go back to it, but Rhode Island College has some pretty good selections.
Right, they do. I mean, everyone loves the chicken tenders and fries here. Friend, producer of the show, Tim Brain. I have to shout out his order. It's always a grilled chicken sandwich, bistro sauce, fries, and whatever vegetables he likes. So
I'm just calling him out for eating too much right now.
He's a very consistent eater. I mean, I like the diet.
Yeah.
Me personally, I try to run empty through the day, which is probably like bad for me, but whatever gets you by the day, and if that's going to be what gets you by a chicken sandwich with fries, I respect that.
Yeah, gotta respect it.
Do you have like a usual meal? I don't know.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's grilled chicken sandwich with a little bit of barbecue gold sauce. Cattleman's Gold barbecue sauce. You get that over in like Buffalo area in the world, and it's pretty nice. They make this like different kind, and LTO on it, lettuce, tomato, onion. I don't really add a whole lot. It's just really that. I like a brioche bun. I can do a sesame bun. And then, I like a little wavy fry or waffle fry, to go along with it with some ketchup.
All right. I remember waffle fries back in high school were pretty big. I think I got tired of them after a little bit. But moving on, now to your current opportunity with Rick as the assistant sports info director. What drove you to Rhode Island College and the community here after you graduated from Pitt Johnstown?
Yeah, so actually, I didn't really know that this place was, had a job opening like this, for a position that I'd say I was overqualified for. But they sort of I looked online NCAA market, and they were like, oh, Rhode Island College here. I used to live in the New England area. Right. I'm very familiar. I used to live up in Worcester County, but I'm very familiar with the area. I used to come down to Providence actually. Had a family member that worked here in the past, and went to a couple Anchorman basketball games back in the day, and man, was that fun to watch. Guys like Mason Choice, Antone Gray, and guys like that and they're now in the Hall of Fame, and Antone Gray getting inducted into the Little East Hall of Fame this past year. But I was able to apply not too long. It was actually I applied in August, like the start of August, probably the 5th through the 10th, somewhere in that range. Scott Gibbons, the assistant director of athletics for media relations, got back to me probably on August 15th. It wasn't too long after, and then he hired me not too long after. Had a little Zoom interview. Maybe it wasn't the most conventional, but I was 8 hours away in Pennsylvania at the time, so making do with what we had, and actually came to campus on the 20th or the 19th, one of those 2 days, and got busy. Got busy.
Yeah. Right on to work, right on to getting stuff done. You mentioned Antone Gray, Little East Conference Hall of Famer now. You got to witness him being inducted. At that special ceremony back in October for homecoming weekend. How was that, being able to see who you watched growing up now enshrined into another Hall of Fame? That's
a great question. I don't think people give a lot of credit to the Division III landscape back in the day. You can go online and look at Antone Gray highlights or other guys' highlights from that time, but you got to give them a lot of credit. And I was watching these guys. I thought they were up to the level of guys like Trey Burke back in the day, or Division I talent, Donovan Mitchell or whatever. But I guess it was just it was so awesome to see it. I got to meet him for the first time. I shook his hand. I was like, introduced myself. I'm like, dude, you played a huge role for me, wanting to get involved in basketball growing up, wanted to play basketball growing up. And I gave him a lot of credit for that. First time meeting him. Now he's at St. Louis coaching as an assistant coach. They were a 9 seed in the tournament. They got a win over Georgia this past year. So awesome to see that. Also, can't forget Bob Walsh over there at St. John's. Yeah. Tried to make a run, but Duke stood in their way. So, but yeah, Antone Gray getting inducted into the Little East Hall of Fame. I feel like he can just keep going up and up from there. He could become a serious head coach at the NCAA Division I level too.
Right, and he's already doing a nice job at St. Louis. Got him into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is always. I remember back a while when URI beat St. Louis, and I had that hammered all over my FYP. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'd rather see RIC do it, but you take whatever. So,
no, exactly.
Were you a big hooper back in high school?
Yes, I played basketball 4 years, soccer all 4 years, and then in the spring I did baseball 2 years, and then track junior, senior year, and then but yeah, basketball hooper, just straight up, point guard.
Right.
Came a lot of 6th man, 7th man off the bench, and then got a lot of starting time senior year. And then I tore my meniscus, had surgery, came back for the championship. Don't want to indulge into a whole lot of that, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of people tell me that maybe I should try out for the my college's team, which was Division II at the time. It was pretty good competition, but I was just like, I don't know if I have the commitment for that. Maybe I just want to do this behind the scenes sports stuff instead.
Do you have a dream 1v1 matchup in mind?
Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Celtics, obviously, not the Pistons guy back in the day, but
I'm sure
my Isaiah Thomas.
You're 100%. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
I know me and you have had just mumblings about a potential 1v1, but I'm not sure. I don't even know if that's gonna.
Oh man, we've got to get that labeled out in the works, because we also have a couple of our other student workers who want to join in on it. So we may not have to make it a 1v1. It could be like a 2v2, 3v3, something like that. So that'd be cool.
The two biggest names I've heard, the boy Jeremy Mondrian and the boy Ryan Farrell. So
yeah, Ryan Farrell could be a dual sport after that. He's a golf athlete as well. He could be basketball.
Seems like a sneaky 3-point guy.
Yeah, he seems like a sneaky 3-point guy, and maybe a little step back action from the mid range.
Yeah, if he can put a I don't even know the golf term for this. Put a hole in. he can certainly like drain a three in my
Yeah, if he
opinion.
can hole out, he can certainly, yeah.
All-purpose guy.
100%.
What does a usual day inside the Murray Center or any of the other great athletic venues here at RIC look like?
Yeah, so I guess a normal day outside of when we have a sporting event, like yesterday, we had a lacrosse event starting at 4, but I'll just take you through a Monday. I basically come in around 10:30, 11, maybe 11:30 some days if we have a rare sporting event later in the afternoon, which we never really have sporting events on Mondays. I immediately, will put my stuff down in my office, get settled. I'll go up to my supervisor's office, Scott Givens, and we'll just go over the week. We'll be talking about, who we're scheduling for the sports games later in the week, whether that be you for the PA announcing, which it, usually always is, or whether that be, Ryan Farrell, like we talked about with broadcast production, and a whole bunch of other guys too. That's just one thing we'll go over. We'll pick our we'll pick our male and female student athlete of the week. We'll have a sponsor for that too that we cycle through about 20 or so sponsors. We have a good deal. And then we will pick our team of the week. That usually depends on, wins, depending on, if they're not having a great season and they, pick up a couple wins, we'll recognize them for that. If they're having a great season, they lose a couple games, we're probably not going to recognize them even if they do pick up some wins, like, if softball splits 2-2. Mm-hmm. It's kind of tough to recognize them because, baseball had a great week the other week or something like that. But we'll do that as well on a Monday. And then he'll send me down back to my office, or I'll just go back down, work on some of my own stuff, whether that's sending text to all the workers or prepping all my Google Docs stuff that I get prepped for all the post-game recaps and stuff that get posted online and stuff. So it's kind of like, a lot in the morning kind of dies down in the afternoon. I get to chill out a little bit and relax more and kind of work on my own stuff. And I got to give a lot of credit to Scott Gibbons. He gives me a lot of freedom to do that.
Mm-hmm. And, to go along, just recently recognizing the team of the week, men's tennis, mm-hmm. Ben Nowinski, male student athlete of the week. I forgot the female student athlete of the week.
And the female student athlete of the week is Riley Adams.
Women's golf.
Yeah, because women's golf, back in action after a long hiatus, and they had actually like 4 meets this spring, and 3 of them were at Hartford. So they're back at Hartford, I guess, this weekend or on Sunday or Monday or something like that.
I feel like they're rapid firing those golf meets.
I know, they were going crazy with them, and no better time to do it in the spring. Weather's only going to get better from here.
Right. So if Riley Adams is watching this, I'm sorry for forgetting about you, but congratulations on your team of the week. Now you are the host of Anchored in Athletics on WPRI 12 Plus and 790 The Score. Yeah. You get the opportunity to interview many of the student athletes and staff that are a part of the various athletic offerings here at RIC. Mm-hmm. How do you choose who you want to interview, and what's the special part about being able to get these perspectives from these other important people here in RIC Athletics?
So that's another good question. I think I actually forgot to mention, we do pick those as well. We want to, Scott Gibbons and I on Mondays, we pick who we want to interview, or we kind of come up with ideas, even on actually Saturday nights before like the week even starts. So when we're finishing up, a doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon or something like that, we'll kind of lay it out in our brains, and then maybe I'll just, reach out to someone, send a text just to get ahead of the curve a little bit. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. All really depends on, what I got going on. Some days I'll have Mondays off, and some days I won't. But yeah, it's usually Mondays. We'll discuss that. Like this past week, we were like, we want to, since we didn't get men's golf yesterday or last week, they were really busy. They had a couple of meets, probably like 2 or 3 meets in that span in probably like 3 or 4 days. So they were playing a lot, and they, I think they came 3rd out of 8 teams, something like that. So it was a pretty good outcome. I didn't get to, they were busy, so I didn't get to do it. So we followed up with them again this week. I'm going to be talking to them later today. That's going to be fun to talk to head coach Bill Volpe, and one of our juniors who's new on the team. He's really making a really good impact, Mike DeCesare. We'll also, I think we also kind of go over who we want to talk to based on performances from the last week, obviously, and like you said, like our student employees or student athlete employees that work in the athletic departments. Jerry Scheller for athletic training, Andy Coughlin for our facilities, Scott Gibbons even coming on here to do recaps of seasons, but we kind of go over that just to get somebody new on there too. Like if we haven't put somebody on, if we've just been doing student athlete after student athlete, we'll get one of our employees on there. So that's good. That we like to mix it up, and even our sponsors sometimes. Mm-hmm. We've had a couple guys on here for our sponsors too.
Right. Have you had Do you remember any sort of notable interviews, or it has sort of like all like sort of like fizzled out? You do these episodes every week. You have like 3 interviews, and along that and all the crazy stuff that goes on campus is obviously a little bit tough. But do you remember like any particular interview?
Yeah, I think it's more of the second part. It's really tough remembering interviews from like the first semester. I remember everybody's faces though when they come in, 100%. I'll remember everybody's name because I call everybody's name when I do the play-by-play. So it's really not too hard to remember everybody's name. But I really just remember the last week. Like last week, I remember Jake Novak, Jake Foster, all those guys coming in. So I don't really. It's tough to remember a couple weeks ago and stuff like that because they all kind of just jumbled together. We're on week 34 this week out of 36, which is unreal. I can't believe we're already 2 episodes pretty much done from it now, which will be ending the first week of May. But yeah, it's been crazy that I had 100-something interviews, 108 interviews throughout the year. So it's hard to remember everybody's interview, what every question I ask. A lot of the questions may be the same, may not be, but I definitely remember the last week a lot better.
Right. So, whenever you guys want to watch Anchored in Athletics, it's Wednesdays on radio and Fridays.
So Wednesdays 9 p.m. WPRI 12 plus.
Oh, I got that.
And then Fridays 790 The Score AM radio, 5:30 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're a better promoter than me. So
I got it in my brain.
If you're ever in the WPRI or listen to radio, make sure you catch me sometimes. I'm doing the Anchor Sports Minute. So quick shout out to myself there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, Tim Yean does a great job in the Anchor Sports Minute. Slight mess ups here and there, but we do a great job editing. And by we, I.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
So thank you for covering up my mishap,
I got you. Yeah.
Sometimes I do that a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I guess if you wanna go down that level. What's the key to having a successful broadcasting caller, and what are some of the favorite sports you've called here at RIC?
Oh, I think the key is to I learned this from one of the PA announcers that used to work with us at Pitt Johnstown. He was telling me, they can see what's happening on the screen. Mm-hmm. Like obviously with, the limited equipment that we have and all the cameras, we may not have our best, equipment. We may not be switching between camera to camera. You may not be getting the best angle and the best view of sports 24/7. But we do our best, and we try to make sure that you're getting a good angle of it. So we just basically, I won't call it how it is, 24/7. I'll take some dead time a little bit, especially if it's just me calling it and I don't have a color. I'll take some dead time and then I'll ramp it back up. Like yesterday for lacrosse, there were some times where they would just slow down the ball. They'd be passing with the stick, especially UMass Dartmouth, and they would I'd just be sitting there and be like, I'll keep quiet right now, and then they'll make some moves, and then I'll ramp it back up, and then they'll score. Yeah, I think you got to kind of switch it up from time to time. You definitely got to do research too. You can do no research. You can go in there and just blind it
if you want. Yeah,
100%. It's definitely doable, especially with conference games. There's doubleheader. You're going to see guys both times. You'll have a better read of the guy the second game, so you can easily do that. But yeah, I think that's a big part of that. I think one of my favorite sports though. Basketball, 100%. I can't get enough of basketball. I can watch basketball 24/7, 8 days a week. I'm sorry. I was about to say like 25/7, 8 days a week. But that was basketball is one of my favorite sports. I can do baseball, soccer. Can do a new one I like is gymnastics though. That one's pretty interesting because there's 4 events going at one time and a whole lot of teams flying everywhere. So that's cool.
Right. Hey, obviously it's a lot more than just you. It's obviously the producer than the camera. So shout out to all those guys if you want to. Yeah. Do you want to shout them out?
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan Farrell. Right. Shout out to Tim Yean, Tim Breen. Shout out to Graham Butziger. Shout out to Emma Tenters, Jeremy Montrin. Right. And finally, shout out to Joe Dupuy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Joe, a lot of guys. Some of them student athletes. Emma's a student athlete.
I forgot Travis Malone too. Shout out Travis Malone. Yeah,
Eric Wilson.
Yeah, also. Eric Wilson too. Baseball.
Kind of busy. So,
he's busy right now, but he does a great job during the winter. Yeah. Did a lot of basketball games.
Do you like his walk-up song? I think it's like Hotel California.
It's a little basic, but I like the way he played the past couple of days, against UMass Boston. I like the way he had a couple RBI. I think he went a combined 2 for 3, but he grounded into a couple fielders' choices. That's what allowed guys to score. So it was he had a good day though at the plate, and he was playing good in the outfield too.
Out of the baseball and softball athletes, do you have one you like the most?
I honestly think the best student athlete that we have at Rhode Island College is Noel Simmons for softball. But for baseball, Jake Foster coming on, he's really fun. Got to know him last year, traveling down to Myrtle Beach with the team just for their spring trip back in 2025. A lot of the guys in the fifth years that were hilarious last year obviously moved on, but I wish they could still be back here to sort of tell the stories about them. But
I know
Jake Foster's good too.
I know the fifth years, the people that graduated for baseball at least, they're still I think they were around for the UMass Boston camp, I think. So.
Yeah, we saw Terry Murray there, saw Isaiah Rivera. Yeah, a couple of guys. And Coach Kaufman loves seeing those guys come back just because, he played a huge role in, making sure they tried to do their best to get to the final last year and just came up a game short.
Yeah, listen, they have a chance to potentially do so again if they play the cards right and, get the wins they need.
You're not wrong, Tim. You're not wrong. We can only hope, though. It'll be a tough road. They've made it tough for themselves, but like you said, they're in that same position they were last year.
Got to be optimistic about it. What have you learned from your time here that you might not have expected when you first joined?
Yeah, I think opening up, I thought it was really easy. I thought the hours were pretty easy, and then you'll get like some Saturdays where you're working 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. So you're there pretty late. But other than that, I think I expected a lot of this stuff. I didn't expect I'd be hosting Anchored in Athletics. So the second year I've been doing this, I was just the producer and the editor the first year, just for the radio portion, obviously. Our host, George Bissell, at the time, did a great job. He's a new father as well, had a kid back in October, so congratulations to him. But, I think I was able to come in here. I thought I took over this pretty well. It took me a lot of shows to learn how to sort of organize it and what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And we can still improve on that in upcoming years. But that was probably one thing I wasn't expecting for sure. Everything else, though, a lot of play-by-play. Obviously there's some sports that I've never done before, but I was really expecting a whole lot of it. I wanted to do this. This is exactly what I signed up for. And like I said earlier in the interview, I feel like I was pretty much overqualified. I feel like I had a pretty good standing. I knew a lot of the stuff. I knew the programs that Scott needed me to learn or wanted me to do and stuff like that. So
what are some of those sports that you never had any prior experience with that you had to sort of learn from the jump here at Rhode Island College?
Swimming.
Yeah.
The winter sport that starts actually. It's a long sport too. They go from October to February.
Right.
Gymnastics, like I mentioned earlier. We do tennis championships when they make the LEC conference tournament championship, not the play. We don't do the playoff games leading up to it. We only do the championship. That's fun too. I really like enjoying. I enjoy watching tennis. We got the Roland Garros coming up in May, so you'll be catching me watching that all May. I think it's like Memorial Day weekend or something like that, out in France. What else? What other sports? There's one more sport, lacrosse. I didn't do lacrosse before. Like I said, I didn't play-by-play. I didn't do the play-by-play for soccer. I just did the broadcast. I would just set up, video. I wouldn't have any, play-by-play going. I'm trying to think. There's got to be one more. I know volleyball I did, basketball. I did wrestling. Yeah, I think it was just, those three ones, gymnastics, swimming, and tennis, lacrosse. Okay. Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of fans also that, that garner around the premises. Is there any, there's also a follow-up. Is there any notable ones that you'd like to recognize here?
Fans that go around the premises. No, we always like to see our appearance from our athletic director Don Tencher here and there. He's
Jack Warner.
Jack Warner, President Jack Warner, making a great appearance from time to time. Obviously, he's a very busy person.
Right.
He's got to do his own thing. I guess we have some very vocal fans here though. I think one of my favorite times of the year is actually soccer, because we had this really interesting game a couple of years ago with UMass Boston. That was very interesting. And then last year with Western Connecticut State, we had our freshman Luis Andres Sanchez absolutely go off, 2 goals, and just was not able to hold on. WestCon was able to come back, and the fans were distraught. The fans were, crying at the end of the day. And it was a sad day for Rhode Island College, but you like to see the emotion come out in the fans. And I'm not sure if I can pick or point one finger at one fan to recognize. We got a lot of good ones here at Rhode Island College that make a lot of noise too.
For sure. Every time I want to highlight someone, it has to be CJ Wilson's mom.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
basketball.
That's right.
Might be
women's and men's basketball too.
Might be one of the kindest ladies I've ever met, and just absolutely. I'm not sure how she hasn't lost her voice. She's
so vocal at the basketball games. Yes, yeah. CJ Wilson, senior on the basketball team.
Kind of incorporated some of her vocal cadences
Yeah,
to my PA calls during basketball. So
Mhm.
shout out to her. I
Shout
just
out.
want to. That's the answer I wanted you to give, but I'm putting it right here and there. CJ Wilson's mom, if you're watching this, I love you.
I thought you were about to say like Nicole Luljic because she
Oh.
is so vocal at the softball games
Of
right
course,
now.
yeah, she has been. She's
been our number one fan recently.
right. So, shout out Nicole Luljic as well. Maybe you might have to
Women's
send her.
basketball, yeah.
You might have to send her this interview as well
Might
right
have
after.
to, Yeah.
Well, I'll call this a second to last question.
Okay.
A fun one,
Penultimate.
right? Out of all of Gunna's albums, which one of them would you be confident in saying, I can go without listening to that for?
Without
Yeah.
listening to it. Oh, it's got to be either Drip Season, the first one, the
yeah.
original one, or Drip or Drown. I don't know if you can get rid of Drip or Drown though because of Drip or Drown alone, and then you got a couple good ones on there like Dodge the Hate, Paid, Award. But there's like good ones on Drip Season too, like Out of Sight, Out of Mind, Going In. There's one I can't say, but there's a lot of good ones on.
Right.
I don't know. It's hard for me, but I might have to go with the original or Drip or Drown. It'd probably be
Okay.
the original Drip Season.
All right. This is also a penultimate question. How about song-wise? Like, some of the big songs, like, I guess leaning towards, like, obviously we have WGFT, which I can't say the formal name of it.
Don't say it. Yeah.
F You Mean.
Don't say that. Yeah.
Yep, obviously.
My favorite song.
I guess, like,
my favorite hit.
yeah, overrated, maybe?
My favorite overrated song.
Or, like, what's an overrated?
Oh yeah, F You Mean. Yeah,
Okay,
100%. Yeah.
for sure.
My favorite hit would be Drip. Or no, it would be Yeah. It would be
Drip Too Hard?
Yeah, Drip Too
Okay.
Hard, and then I was just trying to think of the other ones, and then my most underrated probably feature would probably be on Nav Young Weezy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's a pull.
Is
All
it?
right. My last question. The Miami Heat are in the process of rebuilding their roster. In a 4-game series between the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics, in the 7-game series,
Yep. Like best of 4.
give
yep.
me
Or
give
who
me
gets first
one
4.
reason why my Miami Heat would terrorize and crush the Boston Celtics.
Give you one reason
One
why
reason.
they would
Give me one
crush
reason.
them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't think I can. Seriously, don't think I can, Tim.
What?
You put me in a weird spot here.
This is a very
I can
hard
never
question.
advocate for the Heat. Maybe Bam Adebayo gets 83 again. I don't know.
Right, a very
like,
ethical 83.
maybe Tyler Hero hits 50. I don't know, but you're going up against the Jays guy
Oh.
and Derek White. You're not winning. You're
Right.
not crushing at least.
No. I think we're going to end the interview here. This has been a fantastic episode as usual. Once again, Tim Yean, sports manager for Anchor TV, with another Anchor TV interview episode, this time with assistant sports info director Owen Kane. We thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you for the next episode, which is coming up later today. Take care.